Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi and today we're doing another pick a card. Before I get into the topic, I want to say a big happy new year to you all. Just to go over what I said in my post yesterday, thank you guys so much for supporting me over the past year. I really appreciate all of you guys' love and support, and I hope you guys have a really blessed and beautiful year. So we are going to be doing an ego boost video today because I really wanted to boost you guys up into the next year. I kind of looked at it in my mind's eye like a slingshot and just kind of like boosting you up. So the first reading you see from me, you know, was like a really, you know, how do I put it, an ego boost video where I can just kind of use my Leo energy to shine and onto you guys, and you guys can feel good walking away from the reading. That's the purpose anyway. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So I'm going to get straight in. So you have 4 crystals to choose from. Pile number 1 is the lapis lazuli. Pile number 2 is the yellow bumblebee jasper. Pile number 3 is the ocean jasper. And pile number 4 is the rose quartz. So see which crystal you are drawn to. The timestamps are going to be in the description box as usual, and I will see you guys at your timestamp. Hey pile 1, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at, well, we're not taking a look at anything. I'm just going to be giving you guys an ego boost. I feel like it's force of habit, me saying that. But that's what I'm doing today. I'm going to be giving you guys an ego boost. So I'm basically just going to be tapping into your energy. Spirit's just basically going to take me where I need to go. And yeah, I'm just going to be prepping you guys up. So let's get in. So you guys chose the lapis lazuli, and I do want to say, the minute I opened up to your energy, I feel like you're that psychic pile that comes through in my readings where I get shown like ancient Egypt, and I'm shown the pyramids, I'm being taken to like Syrian energy, I'm shown crows. I feel like you're that pile for me, because that's just what's coming through straight away. So the first thing I want to kind of like credit you guys on is that you have a very deep and strong intuition, and I feel like you guys have very strong clairvoyant abilities. I also feel like you guys would be really, you remind me of my sister in the sense that she is one of the best like lucid dreamers. She like astral travels, goes into the astrals, and then just comes back with floods of information, and it's information she wouldn't know about. She's only like 15, like she doesn't research anything, she just kind of says it to me, you know, in passing, and I'm like, how do you know this? And she just passes the information through, and I almost feel like that's you guys. Like I just want to kind of credit very quickly your ability to connect to the astrals very well, and it doesn't have to be just lucid dreaming and astral travel. And if you've never done that before, although I do feel at one point you might uncover that or unveil that at some point, but I also do feel like you guys have just a really strong tie and talent for like matters of the occult, you know, like scrying, and you're just the type of person that would just get visions. Like you don't even have to be asleep to kind of like dream. You're able to just pass through the realms and see things and see things really deeply. And I feel like I could be in a room with you and you have this kind of like intensity about you, which I feel to some people is kind of like alluring, because it's like, why am I feeling these things? But I also feel like you're able to pry into energy without force. It just is something you just naturally read, which I think is something from a past life that I kind of want to mention straight away, because you just have this kind of a buzzing third eye that I just like can feel tapping into your energy. And there's, I don't know if you guys have deep set eyes. I almost want to say that you guys have very beautiful eyes, because remember, the eyes are the windows to the soul, and I feel like you have a very pure soul. It's like, you know, the sun, and then if something gets too close to the sun, it like alchemizes. I feel like your energy is just kind of like that. Your soul kind of feels like that, and it's just, I just feel like you have a lot of power in your bones. That's just something I want to say straight away. So let's keep going. Pile number 1. Oh, 3 of Pentacles. Show me pile number 1's energy so I can give them an ego boost, please, Spirit guys. Show me pile number 1's. We have the Knight of Swords. A lot of purple coming through, so it's crown chakra energy. Pile number 1. Show me pile number 1's energy. I feel like you guys are really good like artists. And remember, art does not just have to be drawing and painting a picture. Art can be interior design, art can be singing, art can be making sense, or you know what I mean, just seeing the artistic kind of elements in anything. I feel like you guys are able to do that. Like, your mind is really expansive and really colorful. It's like walking into Wonderland, going into your mind, and I just feel like you're able to add so much layer and depth to people that they don't even see in themselves, because there's just a high level of intelligence in a very celestial way that you guys just have. But it also just kind of it kind of materializes as creativity too. I don't know if you guys write poetry, you write books. It's just your choice of words, the way you're able to bring things through. It's just really, really interesting, and there's so much depth to it that it just becomes art. Like, I almost feel like, and I don't know if you do this, but it's almost like you look at your life in the form of art. It's interesting. It's like you could create, you know, like when artists will create an album and they say it's kind of like a diary, but like a musical diary of their like last year or 2 years. It's almost like you're able to look at things like that and section things in and kind of see. Your mind's just really cool. Let me just try and sit in it to try and explain what I'm seeing. It's like so now you're going through a breakup phase, like you almost create an era out of it. It's like, I remember the era when I dyed my hair this color and I listened to this and I had this aesthetic and I did this and I found out this about myself. That was like a whole journey. And just like 6 months of your life, you would have gone on such a journey, added so much detail and like artistry to your everyday life because of it, that like people could make a movie out of just those 6 months. Like it's given that. I don't know why I keep being taken to not the night before Christmas, but I'm guessing there's a reason I said that. What's it called? The Corpse Bride. I don't know why I'm being taken there to the Corpse Bride, but there's just like a kind of feeling of that coming through, and just like obviously with, I think her name's Emily in the Corpse Bride, like she had like an unrequited love, but it was like a whole story that kind of like followed her, and it's such a beautiful adaptation of just like, I guess, a feeling of unrequited love, but there's been like a whole movie and depth and like art surrounding it, and it's like people could do that with just phases of your life because of your depth and just feeling. And I feel like you're able to do that. You could like listen to somebody talk about like having this feeling of feeling closed in and wanting to travel, and you could create a movie of it in your brain and an idea of it, or a whole album of it in your brain. Like the way you just expand and pull from your own internal source is really deep, and it's just really rich. That's how, do you know how I describe you? And I know this is really weird, but I guess you're coming here from an ego boost for me, and this is how I would describe you. You know when you go into a store and let's say you're getting fudge, right? And there's like all kinds of fudge. There's like, you know, cheap ones, there's like different makes, but then you have that like top dollar fudge that's like really creamy and rich, and it's just like, it's expensive and it tastes expensive because there's depth to it. Like there's been thought into every detail to create this fudge, right? Even in the packaging, it's gold, and it's like, you want that top shelf fudge. I don't know where fudge came from, but you guys are like that to me. Like you, how do I explain it? It's like what do they say? You pay for what you get, sort of thing. So it's like, if you want to reach your level, you've got to be expensive and add a lot of value to your own life and inner world to match yours. Like there's just a depth, and I think sometimes people might not see it, but I also think that protects you, because then it's like the people that are meant to see you will see you. That's just something that I want to say. One more card and then I can channel from the tarot. I think you guys have open crown chakras too, because I haven't even really cared to look at the cards yet, other than the color. Like I'm just bringing the information through. Because I think that just your energy alone is so expensive. It's almost like I just want to, it's like the way I'm being shown it, it's like I'm walking into the chambers of like your energy, and I'm just kind of peering around and like, wow, that's cool, that's really deep. And I don't feel like I need to look at the cards or anything else. I will pull the cards, but that's how I feel. I just feel like I can keep going and going, and I think, you know, it's just your energy is really interesting. I think you're a really interesting person. Pile number 1, please, Spirit guides. Show me pile number 1's energy so I can give them an ego boost. Show me pile number 1's energy so I can give them an ego boost. One more card. Oh, what have we got? Temperance, yeah. Okay. In the back of the deck, you guys have Death. So I will say that you guys are definitely Alchemists. You guys feel like you may have a lot of Scorpio placements. I feel like you guys may have a lot of air placements, so Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. I forgot the air signs then. There's definitely as well those strong Mercury energy coming through. So I know I said Gemini, but also Virgo. Like the way you're able to analyze and put things into order and create, it's like sometimes when we have that artistic flair and we have that depth, it could get chaotic, but there's almost an order. Like there's a meaning to the madness sort of thing. It's like there's an order to it. And it's like, if you were a movie, you'd be one of those movies that it was like, you don't get it at first, and then you have to like really think over all of these like analogies and things that happen, and then it's like, whoa, this is really deep. And then like 100 years on, there's like English classes that are just studying like one texture of the book because of how deep it is. Like, you give that sort of vibe to me, you know what I mean? If you were a rapper, you would just spit like metaphors and metaphors that people would have to keep rewinding to understand because of just how expansive and intellectual your mind is, and it's almost not of this earth at the same time, that people almost just might just not get it if they're not supposed to. It's like, you're definitely top secret. If you know, you know. It's given very Scorpionic, you know, 8th house, like it's given occult vibes. It's given like, how are you hating from outside the club? You can't even get in. Like you're given expensive, but it's like otherworldly at the same time, and there's like an intensity, and it's just like, you know, when you you know when like you're younger and you want to be like a celebrity, and you want to dress like a celebrity or give off this aura like that a celebrity does, and it's like, you're one of those people that it's not in the shoes or the hair or the clothes or the makeup or anything like that to kind of become you. You've become you by going inward and really pulling parts of yourself out of your own chambers. Like, you're just very expansive is what I want to say about you guys as energy. Now, I will say, pile number one, you naturally have, with this Three of Pentacles energy, it's given this energy of, because of this intensity and because of this boldness that I feel like you just give off, you naturally have this kind of like master energy. Like, you've mastered a lot. I want to come to you for advice. It's like, I almost want to take my cup and come to you for the wisdom. It's like, you know, back in the day when you know, people would take like psychedelics and then pass on the information that they brought through, but it was only like certain people that could do it, and higher up parts, like, you know, certain shamans and stuff. It's like, you give off that energy naturally. So it's almost like, I feel like people do look to you for guidance, for even depth in themselves. It's almost like people would be interested to hear you talk about them. That's how it feels, because you're able to pull things from people that they haven't seen within themselves. You almost act as a really deep mirror, that it's almost like you help people heal without realizing it. Like, you may say something and it could even trigger somebody in the moment, but then they'll go back and you've now brought that up into their conscious reality by maybe just looking at them for too long or just saying something very simple. But it's like, you've brought that into their conscious reality, that whether they're triggered or they're brought, you know, to their knees in gratitude, or they're just feeling really expansive after it, you brought it into their conscious mind for it to manifest in their reality and help them become better. And I think you guys just naturally heal and alchemize people without realizing it. Again, referencing the sun. You know what I mean? Anything getting too close to the sun, it has to kind of transmute out of its physical form. It can no longer exist in a physical form. And I feel like you guys have that same energy. It's like, it's really, really interesting. There's an intensity. So it's almost like only the right people are going to be able to stay and hold that frequency, because they then too would have that frequency. It's really, really, really cool. I feel like you guys have a really beautiful voice too, because I keep being taken to the throat chakra, and I know the lapis lazuli, as well as connecting to the third eye, it does connect to the throat chakra. And I feel like you guys either have a very husky voice, a very soothing voice. Like, it could be anyway, because I know a lot of you are watching. So like, you could either have a voice of like a siren, or you could have a voice of like, I don't know why I want to say like songbird. Like, you just have, like, I don't know why I'm being taken to like Snow White when she sings her song. I can't remember, like, I know when she sings like Whistle While You Work, and she has that really bird-like voice. She may have a voice like that, and you could have a very deep commanding voice as well, but there's whatever layer of it is, there's just like an intensity there, and something that heals through your throat chakra too. You may have Mercury and like Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, or something like that, because I just really see you being able to speak and bring information to people in a way that can touch them and heal them, or maybe trigger, but then it ends up healing them just by you triggering them, you know. Why do we have the Knight of Swords, Spirit Guides, Page of Cups, Temperance? Why do we have the Knight of Swords, and then the Page of Cups? You're the type of person as well that goes into a room and knows exactly what you want. This is how I'll explain it. In my old job, and it was before I'd worked on my confidence and stuff like that, and I was very, I wouldn't say timid, I was just very observant, and I definitely didn't know my worth, so I didn't really know my own needs or what I wanted. And my manager, she was so bold every time she walked into a room. She knew exactly what needed to be done, and like, she'd have no problem. I remember she'd ask for my supervisor to give her a coat, or to keep a coat back. And then when the supervisor like held it up to her and was like, do you want this coat? She like very boldly was like, no, I don't want that one. And the way she said it, it commanded, and I watched everyone kind of like scurry around her, not in the sense that they were fearful, but I just feel like sometimes when you command energy, it works for you. And whether you've tapped into that potential or not, because you may be watching this and thinking, I don't know, I'm a bit timid. I feel like as time goes in, the more you tap into your worthiness, I feel like you're going to watch your words and things you say. You'll watch energy just kind of scurry and make it happen, whether it's in the form of people, or just things manifesting into your reality a lot quicker, because you have a voice that can command energy. I feel like you worked with that in a past life. There's something really coming strong with the throat chakra and you guys being able to command or, you know, gain power over things with your voice. There's just like a power there that comes through. And I feel like people almost look at you like walking into a room on a mission, knowing what you want, you know, going for what you want. There's a lot of that. And I feel like you're either going to reach a point where you can communicate very clearly, or you already do, but you don't realize it yet. So there's a level of maybe confidence that you might not see yet. Because as I say it, I feel a bit of resistance, but it's something that's you're either currently working on or is being transmuted, because I see you in this lifetime standing there with a very open throat chakra that has a direct line to your solar plexus. And it's like, it's commanding, and it's just something that you're waking up within you. So that's something that I want to say. I also want to say with the Page of Cups, just your mind naturally is very expansive. I feel like there's, you know, when people say the sky's a limit, the sky isn't even a limit to you. You go even beyond the sky. Like, I feel like you may tap into the esoteric and things that are very otherworldly, and I just think that you offer such a great perspective that other people don't see. I just feel like you're the type of person that I would want on my like business team. You're the type of person that I'd want just in my tribe naturally. I just feel like you'd be able to enrich people with such like brilliance that is your mind. I just think you're a walking piece of art and a walking piece of wisdom at the same time. It's like you're like cut from sauce. I would definitely say that about you guys, and you're able to bring such a higher, fresh perspective, even though you're tapped into, I'm being told, like ancient parts of the human vessel. So take that in a way you want to take it, but I just feel like the way human beings were so connected in the past, I feel like it's already awake within you, and you just move as such. Which is probably where that otherworldly feeling comes through, or like this intensity comes through, because I feel like you've unlocked parts of yourself that human beings have really had hidden from them in a long time. I feel like you just naturally unlock it just by being curious and going into your own chambers. That's what I mean. The depth is really beautiful. Like, you have like the depth in you that could house, like, look at me getting all poetic, but like, you have the depth in you that could literally house like a million seas. Like, that's what you have within you, is just such depth to you, and it's so beautiful as well, because it's not just like just void space in your depth. It's like creativity, it's talents, it's wisdom, it's past life lessons, it's psychic gift, it's, you know what I mean, physical talents you learned from this human experience, physical talents you learned from other experiences on other planets. Like, you just have so much to you. It's really, really interesting. You just give off this ascended master vibe, to be honest with you. And then Temperance, I feel like your power comes from pouring into you, because the more you know yourself, you're able to, it's not, you know what it is? It's not even that some of your gifts aren't even unlocked. It's that the more you pour into yourself, the more you become aware of your power, the more you can activate them and gain control over certain gifts. But I feel like it almost feels to me like I'm being shown someone with like an octopus, right, with like loads of the tentacles, and it's like right now I just feel like I'm the head piece, but the more I understand my worth, these tentacles are no longer flapping about and they're not of use to me, or they feel like a burden. Now I understand what these tentacles are for, and I can hold this, and I can hold this, and I can do this, and I can do this, and I've got strength in this. And I feel like your whole life in this lifetime is waking up more so to your power and pouring into you, so that you know and can activate those gifts and use them to the best of your ability. I feel like that might be part of your life mission, which I didn't expect it to go into a bit of a guidance reading, but I just feel like you guys are very evolved souls, and I feel like you're able to just bring out what you need from people anyway. Like, I feel like, yeah, I feel like as well, like, you're the type of person that could go into a shop and like have an idea of like, I need this, this, and this, but then your higher self will be like, no, we need this. And then all of a sudden it could just fall into your basket, or you don't even realize you're like walking around and like a baby just picks something up and pops it in your basket. You don't even realize. You get to the checkout and you're like, I don't remember putting that in there. And you're like, you know what, I'm just going to keep it in there. Like, let's say batteries. Like, I didn't come here for batteries, but they're in there. I don't know why. And then you get home and then it's like your remote's died and you have no batteries in the house. And then you're like, wait, there was batteries and I didn't put them in there, but they're there. It's like your higher self almost takes the reins sometimes too. And I think sometimes you realize this, sometimes you don't, but I would definitely say that you're very divinely guided in a really strong way. It's really, really beautiful. So let's pull some more cards for you guys. Pile number 1. Show me pile number 1's energy so I can give them an ego boost. You're very powerful. We have sadness. Pile number, I love, because you guys know how much I love Doctor Who, and I just got a Doctor Who clip come into mind when I had that card, and I'll say it to you guys now. We have rejection. Show me pile number 1's energy so I can give them an ego boost. I just heard rejection is divine protection. And then we have faith. And the back of the deck we have illumination, which is literally the sun, and I was saying you guys are like the sun, literally. So what I was getting with sadness is there's this episode in Doctor Who, it was in the first season, and Rose, who is the companion, she kind of absorbs this time vortex into her mind, which is basically all knowledge of space and time, and it starts burning her up from the inside. But when she gets control of it in a way, she starts to like eliminate things that were threats. The villains in the story, she manages to eliminate them with her bare hands. And then her friend at the time, his name's Jack, he died, and she's able to bring him back to life. And it's like she's almost looking in a human way of like all things that could stop like happiness and you know, saving the day, and she's able to see it with her mind, and she starts to like transmute it. And I feel like every tear that you've cried in this life, and any life really, to be honest with you, you've had a lot of them, and I feel like any tear that you've cried, it's almost like you've dissected it. It's like you've taken every tear, which is like every feeling, every emotion, every hardship, and it's like I see somebody taking it into a lab, like a science lab, putting it under a microscope. What does this feeling mean? What does this tear mean? What does this setback mean? What does this rejection mean? What does it mean? How is it making me feel? And you've like taken it apart to understand it and how it works, that when you put it back together, it's like, I'm going to use this to my benefit. And I feel like you have probably had to purge a lot, especially with the death card coming at the back of the tower deck, but you've used it to transmute and bring life to it. And the reason I say that is because in that episode with Rose, when she realizes in her mind that Jack has died, she literally goes, I bring life. And her hands are like out like this, and she goes, I bring life, and then Jack just wakes up. So it's almost like the minute you realize that the reason you were getting triggered by someone was because they were mirroring a wound from your inner child, it's almost like, it's like, oh my God. And then you just touch and tap into your inner child and purposely pull that wound out and then just transmute it there and then. It's like, and it just happens like, boom, I just did that. Like, you just naturally do it and alchemize it. And you kind of follow these kind of like threads to the end, and these, stems to their roots to kind of really understand it, to make it work for you. And it's just really, really interesting the way that you can do that. I don't think there's any kind of negative circumstance that you couldn't just flip, because you're just able to do that. It's like, I create my reality and I'm going to create abundance from this. I don't care how low on the ground it went. And I just think that's just really, that's strength in its truest form. So that's something I want to just boost your ego with there, because I just feel like you're so bold, courageous and strong. A lot of people would run away from these feelings, and you're just like purposefully grabbing hold of them, taking them into the lab, dissecting them, feeling them, and then transmuting them, and then just kind of being like, okay, thank you, next. Like, the fact that you can do that, I just think that's so whoa. And I don't even think you give yourself credit for that either, because you're just like, meh, I've done that so many times. But it's like, no, people run from that. People hide from that their whole lives. People avoid even acknowledging the feeling. You've gone way past acknowledging it, transmuted it, and now it's something else. That's insane. Like, that's amazing. And I just want to like be like, wow, you don't realize how good that is, because I just don't think you understand how beautiful that is. And then going into the card rejection, and then it's followed by faith. Like I said, rejection is divine protection. And I think, again, you're one of those people that anytime that there's a door closed on you, anytime somebody steps away, you'll feel the feeling in the moment. You won't bypass it. You'll feel the feeling of rejection and sadness, and why didn't this happen? Might have a little cry, might have a little, melt down a little bit and be like, what's going on? But the minute you felt it, you bounce back, you transmute, and you look towards the sun. I'm being told again to kind of bring that optimistic flair back in. And I'm hearing the song by Stormzy, and he sings Blinded by Your Grace. And he sings, Lord, I've been broken, although I'm not worthy, you fixed me. And I'm surrounded by your grace, you came and saved me. So it's almost like you look to, whether it's your higher self, God, whatever you want to call it, the universe, and you just tap into that optimism of the universe. It's 3:03 on the clock, by the way. You tap into it and you just alchemize, because you're just so tapped in that way. You're able to bring that, and I just think that's really, really beautiful. So let's pull your final card. Pile number, oh no wait, I'll do two of these actually. I'll do two. Pile number one, please, Spirit Guide. Show me pile number one's energy so I can give them an ego boost. You have manifest. I will say as well, I think that you've already in ways mastered the physical realm. I think you more so come here to pass on information and just kind of guide and help people. It almost feels that way. Like I said, you feel a bit like an ascended master in a way. So I just feel like with the manifest card, I feel like naturally you guys have a okay, I was going to say, naturally you guys have mastered this realm that you're able to manifest. And then I was about to say that I think you go through incarnations to, like, in the sense of, I'm going to lose myself to find myself. And it becomes this journey. And then, like, someone's higher self came through and it was like, well, we have to give people a chance. If I was just woken up to my power the minute I incarnated, I would just be manifesting and just continuously just bringing abundance everywhere, and it would just be too easy. We have to give, people a chance to, do that in this life, and I'll just forget my power and then I'll bounce back. It wouldn't be fair otherwise. Like, there's a feeling of that coming through. It's quite funny and quite humorous, which I love. And I think you own every era. It's like, oh, that was my toxic era. Yep, learned a lot from that. That was my self-love era. That was a great one. It's like you almost look in the chapters of a book, and because there's such depth to it, there's a whole color scheme. There's music. There's a whole thing to each era of your life. It's like, that was my villain era. Yep, I ate shit up then. I know I did. And it's like you're going through things. That was my healing era. Oh, that was my spiritual awakening era. That was great. And it's like you're able to just, scroll through. It's really cool. Like, you're really cool. That's what I want to say. Pile number one, final card. We have trust. I would kind of say that you are the lotus. I know we have, it looked like a lotus, but we've got the butterfly there. But because that looked like a lotus at the beginning, I'm going to kind of go with that. I would say that you guys are the lotus. And I think that you guys are people that can just turn any sort of negative experience into an abundant one just by your own alchemization. I feel like to describe you, you are the sun. And I think that you're able to, I feel like there's a mastery that you already have that you're tapping back into and have been. And I just think your mind is so colourful, creative and beautiful. I think that the depth that you have is beautiful. I feel like I could go through every chakra and tap into so much depth and we'd be here for hours. Like, I feel like you're the type of pile that, I know there's usually like one or two piles where I'll talk a lot. And it's like, okay, well, that just needed to come through. And I feel like you'd be that pile. So you may find when I give you readings, I talk a lot because there's just so much to say. And I feel like even with this, all I've done is scratch the surface. I feel like there's so much more to say, but we're coming up to half an hour, so I am going to start closing down the reading from here. But that's what I mean. Like, what we've just done here is tip of the iceberg. There's so much to you, so much extravagance to you, so much beauty to you. Like, the depth, it just is endless. And I just want you to know that about yourself. Like, you are money, like you are regal, you are courageous, you're creative, you are divine. That's how I would describe you. The back of the deck, we have Ascension. I feel like some of you guys may have even incarnated to help activate people's own ascensions, awakenings, whatever you want to call it. I do feel that with the butterfly here, I feel like you've gone through so many deaths and rebirths, and it's almost like I'm doing it to show people how it's done, because if I understand it in this incarnation, I can help other people do it too. And it doesn't have to be, okay, well, I'm going to be a spiritual mentor. It can be, you know, movies inspire us, books inspire us, music inspires us, art inspires us, poetry. There's so much things that can inspire us, you know what I mean? Even just you living your life. And I just think you kind of have come down and incarnated for that. It's really interesting. Like, I feel like you incarnated for a purpose. Yeah, definitely. So pile number 1, that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed your reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did, and happy new year. I hope you guys have a beautiful year, and this was a nice little start to your year. Hey pile 2, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at, well, I'm taking a look at you guys' energy, and I'm going to be giving you guys an ego boost to start off your new year. So you guys chose the yellow jasper, the bumblebee jasper. I'm going to start with tarot, and then we are going to get into your oracle cards. So let's get in. So pile number 2, please, spirit guides, can you tap me into the collective of my pile number 2s? First thing I want to say is you guys have really nice smiles. Like, I almost feel like there's something about the features and the way that you smile that people are really drawn to, that I just want to highlight. It could be your teeth, it could be just the smile in general, it could be, you could have very prominent cheeks that really turn up when you smile, you could have very big smiles, you could have a very sweet smile. I just see someone smiling and it's infectious, and now I want to smile. Somebody bringing joy, and now I want to feel joy. It's like I'm walking away from you skipping. Like, I feel like if I hang out with you, I'd go home and I'd just feel high vibe just by being around you guys. Like, you just have this uplifting energy that it's just activates people naturally. Yeah, and I want to say as well, because Spirit's saying positive influence, so I feel like you'd be a very positive influence on me, and I feel like you're a positive influence on people around you. I think that you bring out the best in people. You really highlight people, you big them up. You almost feel like the older sibling that just is making me feel good. Like, you know what I mean? And anytime I F up, you're there to save the day. Like, that's how your energy feels to me. It's really interesting. And there's a loyalty that's coming through from you guys. You guys may have a lot of fire in your charts, so Aries, Sag, Leo. I'm saying Leo as well just because of that loyalty. I also am being taken to Capricorn as well, with that kind of like loyal energy. Taurus too. That's just something that's coming through. You're very you take care of people, you care about people. Your heart really shines really beautifully, and you care, and I think people feel that you care. Yeah, let's keep going. I don't know if you guys wear a lot of jewelry, but that's something I feel shines out about you as well. You may have like statement pieces that you wear, or just like, you know, you may wear like the same necklace. Like, I'm being shown like a citrine necklace, like a, you know, a citrine crystal, and somebody wearing it constantly, and it's like, I associate that with you. So you could have something about your style that people really like, that like it's you. Like, I associate with you with that style, or that color, or that jewelry, or that hairstyle. It's like that aesthetic, you know, like I associate it with you. You're like one of those people as well. So pile number 2, can you show me pile number 2's energy so I can give them an ego boost? I'm being shown, who wasn't it, Jesus that had the bread, and then he made more bread out of it, and then he just gave pieces of bread to everyone? And then funnily enough, we're like mixing in Jesus with Katie from Mean Girls when she has the tiara and she breaks it and gives it to everyone. You feel like that type of person. Like, if I'm eating, everyone's eating too. Like, you feel like that type of person. You also feel very like divine mother, divine father energy too. We have this Ace of Cups. It's like I have this endless fountain of just like love and confidence and just light, and I'm going to share it. Why would I not share it? And I feel like you're very generous with your time, your compliments. Like, people feel with you, and I feel like I'd feel like this with you too. I'd feel safe to tell you things that I normally would maybe keep to myself, because as you guys probably know as well, and I feel like you'd know this being this kind of light, some people don't want to see people shine, and some people will really put people down, and there'll be a motive to something. Like, I am your friend because maybe you look good in my circle, or I'm your friend because of this, I'm your friend because of that, whereas you give off this genuinity that makes me feel safe and makes me feel like I want to be friends with you straight away, and makes me just naturally want to open up to you. It's like I feel like almost held by your energy. It's just very caring, and I just feel like you're the type of person that people would just say things to, or just feel comfortable to like maybe cry in front of. Like, some people don't want to cry because they don't want to be seen as weak, whereas I feel like you're the type of person that people would cry in front of because they know you wouldn't judge. And it could be because you're quite vulnerable yourself. There's like a feeling of that, like, and I've seen it a lot when I'll be very vulnerable, and I will be always on this channel because I set that intention when I started it. But even when I'll like cry or I'll express emotion, I'll have, you know, one or two people be like, oh, you're doing that for attention or whatever, and people will find a vulnerability or like something that you're being vulnerable with and poke at it. Whereas with you, even though people run around with that awareness of people are going to poke at it, people don't see that with you, and it's not even in much of what you do, it's felt. Like, you're really felt. That's something that I want to say. Pile number, we have the Knight of Cups. I'm hearing True Friend by Hannah Montana. Like, I feel like anyone who becomes friends with you, there's two types of friends that I feel like you're going to have in your life. You're going to have the people that are like your true friends, that really see you and understand the value that you hold. And then I feel like, which may have been earlier in life, but you may sometimes still deal with people like this, you'll have the friends that may get jealous of the light that you have and maybe try and stamp it out, which technically aren't friends. And I think that naturally your own light repels it, because it's almost like you cast a light on their shade to the point that they end up revealing themselves. And I feel like you've had instances like that. So me telling you straight up, a lot of people that are around you, they have genuine intentions. You may think, I don't know. The reason you think that is because in the past you may have drawn in people, you know, seeing your beautiful light and then seeing vulnerabilities and try to poke at the vulnerabilities. And that's what I wanted to say with this Ace of Cups is, even though it's not part of the Ego Boost video, I do want to say, the more you pour into you, give to yourself first and understand your boundaries, and sometimes maybe have to be cruel to be kind, or put in boundaries and say no to people, that is going to protect your light, and that is going to have you shine even brighter. The more work you put on yourself and your own boundaries and pouring into you, it's then going to benefit other people. And I feel like with this Knight of Cups, even though I'm getting a different message from it, I am being shown that people really do see your worth, even if people have made you in the past feel worthless. Like, maybe you've had someone that might have rejected you, or you've had a friend really put you down. The friend only put you down because you don't put people down that are beneath you. You want to try and put people down that are above you, so you feel like you're above them. Anyone that's trying to pull you down, it's because they feel like they're beneath you. Because anyone that was shining like you were wouldn't do it, because you don't go around putting people down. You know what I mean? So that's one thing that I want to say. And second of all, I said this, say into pile number 1 as well, rejection is divine protection. And I just feel like people, especially like, I almost feel like sometimes maybe in relationships, because you are a bright light and you have a lot to give, I feel like it's almost either sometimes either intimidated or brought out insecurities in people, but the people that then rejected and walked away because maybe insecurities and whatever came up, it was because there were people that were able to pour into you, and those people that walked away, they weren't able to pour into you in the extent that you were of them. Like, the absolute like brightness of your heart shines so strongly, the genuinity shines strongly, even like it's like the universe is coming through like, yes, so they're going to get that back. They're not going to get, you know, they're not going to have people just taken and leaving them depleted. They're going to have another Ace of Cups back, and people are being drawn to this Ace of Cups and maybe wanting some for free. And that's what I was saying, the more you pour into yourself in this lifetime, the more not only you are going to benefit, but other people will too, and the right people are then going to align, because you almost give off light work, a healing energy, and you really activate people. You make people feel good. It's making me feel like nectar, like bees coming to get the nectar, and like that's almost what your energy feels like. You know, when bees in the summer and they're looking for the flowers, like you're that flower, you're that nectar. And the more you like water yourself and nurture yourself, which, you know, you being the plant, the flower, the more everyone then benefits, you know what I mean? But I think you've been learning boundaries, and I think that's where maybe that friendship thing came in. But another thing I want to say is you're the type of person as well where I'd come to for like a genuine answer to something. Like, you remind me of my friend Sam, where I'd go to him and like if I was on my BS, I'd turn to him and be like, was I wrong there? And he'd be like, yes, you were. Like, and he'd do it in a kind way though. He wouldn't put me down. He'd be like, he'd really explain it in the right way, and he'd give a really nurturing explanation, but then he'll also like be stern where he needs to. And I feel like you almost give that. People come to you for genuine advice, genuine pick-me-ups. Like, you seem like the type of person where if I was having a bad day and I saw you, the minute I saw you, it was like, before I got into the car, before I got into your home, it's like all my worries and troubles would have just fallen out before I even stepped through the door, got into the car, because it's like, I'd forget them when I was around you, because you just feel like this light, and I feel like I'm in your world. And it's like, have you ever watched The Magic Roundabout? I don't know why, I just feel like I'm in this kind of fun world. You know when you watch movies like that, like Trolls or whatever, and the Smurfs, and they're just in this alternative fairyland? I almost feel like being around you would feel like that. And it's like I'm tapping into these potentials and power that I, you know, because it's like tapping into the inner child in a way. It's like I'm tapping into things that maybe I left behind or I forgot about. You feel like that. And you do feel as well, because I think this is part of like your allure and tendencies as well with like romantic partners. You feel ethereal. You may have like what they call like ethereal beauty, but you just feel like otherworldly, like dragon, fairy, mermaid energy. You just give that off. You give off like, I'm coming to you to a faraway land. It's like you're giving off Tinkerbell vibes or like Little Mermaid vibes. Like, I'm going into another realm when I'm around you, and it's really fun and I really want to go there. Like, you give off that really fun friend that like, and it's not a case of like, let's get rid of our responsibilities and live in dreamland. It's not that. It's just like, because I think you have a very healthy balance, but it's just, you're the type of person that makes me inspired to go and do fun things. Like, I feel like if I hang out with you, I'd be like, let's go on holiday, let's do this, let's do that. And I feel like I'd bounce off you. That's how I'd feel. Yeah, there's a vulnerability that you get people to open up to when they're with you, that allows them to more fully be themselves and talk about things that maybe trouble them, and helps okay, so this is what it's like. Imagine now you have a friend that is very adulting. It's giving Peter Pan, you know the movie Pan with Robin Williams, and he's like been from Neverland so long that he's like is kind of like miserable, and all he cares about is work, and he's just like forgotten who he is. Being around you, it's like I'm in this practical mindset. I have all of these worries. I don't know how to solve them. I hang around with you. You peel off the layer of the grown up a minute. You tap me into my inner child, so I'm waking up to I'm Peter Pan and whatever in Neverland. And it's like the more I'm tapping into that inner child, I'm realizing some things I was worrying about, first of all, don't even matter, and I was letting them weigh me down for no reason. Other things that I was worrying about, I know a way out of it. I may need to shift a few things and have a bit of an ego death in some ways, but I will be able to transmute out of it. It's not the end of the world. And the other things I'll be able to see from a higher perspective and work accordingly. And it's all from sitting with you, taking off my adult self, maybe even taking off my human self and looking at it from a spiritual perspective of, or even just like an inner child perspective of, actually, do you know what? I feel like I have the confidence to do this now. And I feel like I have the confidence to do that now. And sometimes you don't even have to say anything. I just feel like it's your energy activating their inner child naturally. So again, Leo, 5th house energy coming through. Like you don't have to have a lot of Leo 5th house placements, but it's just coming through like a strong connection to the inner child there. You may have a lot of ones in your numerology chart as well. Pile number 2. Show me pile number 2's energy, so we can give them an ego boost. We have the 8 of Cups. Show me pile number 2's energy so I can give them an ego boost. Oh, one more card from this deck, please, Spirit Guides. Show me pile number 2's the Magician. Do you know what vibes you give me too? And I probably said this to you before. You give off very headstrong Moana vibes. Like, you give off, yes, I could stay on this island, but I'm really being called to the sea, and that's where I'm going to head to. And I don't care if I look like I'm doing something crazy. I'm just going to get on that boat and go. Like, you really do give off headstrong vibes like that, like fearless vibes. And I feel like the more you shine that light inward, the more you give off that vibe, the more you give off that headstrong vibe. And I think that the more you do that as well, and the more you pour into yourself, people are really realizing your value. Not that they didn't see it before, but it almost may trigger people's insecurities in a way of, oh my god, they're just going to go across the sea and leave me. You know what I mean? Like, you know, when Moana starts to get that courage to really go across the sea after like her whole life staring out at the sea, and she finally gets that courage, it's like people around you may think, you know, oh my god, this person's gonna leave. Like, and I think you're also someone as well that maybe in the past you were very open with this Ace of Cups and just gave, so people would get such beautiful energy from you and such a beautiful friendship from you, but not appreciate it sometimes because they were able to just access it. Whereas I feel like either you're at this point now, or you are going to get to a point where you put up like offensive boundaries and pour in. And I feel like the more you pour into yourself, pile number 2, and the more that you give to yourself and shine that light within and have borders up, like, unless you're giving it back to me, you can't come in. People are first of all, that can't get into that garden anymore, going, first of all, why can't I get in? Why am I not matching that energy? And was I not given it's like I knew I wasn't giving all that I should have given to that person because they gave so much to me. But now that I'm given the task to actually have to fill up that person's cup the way that they filled up mine, I'm realizing I'm really not up to the task, and I'm realizing how genuine and vulnerable and how much they gave me, because I'm not able to do that right now, and they were able to do that for me. So now I feel a little bit unworthy, and now I feel like I might have to work on myself. So I feel like you maybe putting up that boundary, it does help people work on themselves too, because it's like, oh wait, that person was really giving me a lot and I can't give that because now I see the requirements of what it takes. I really don't live up to that, and I haven't opened up to that in myself. So I think I need to work on myself. So there's feelings of that I feel like you make people realize when you put up that fence of boundaries. But also I just feel like some people have had to learn the lesson of like losing you and your generosity and your energy to really see how much you gave and how much you meant. You know what I mean? Because it's almost like some people are currently, because I'm looking at your energy currently as well, some people are almost looking at you right now as a star in the sky that I can't reach but I really adore. It's like I've got to get a stethoscope to look at it, but now I'm realizing how potent that was. Or the sun in the sky, or the moon in the sky. It's like if it went away, we'd all realize, you know, how much it gives and how much energy that actually gives to us. But because we see it every day, we might not realize how beautiful it is until we tap into it. So it's almost like you putting that fence up. It's like allowing people to have rainy days and miss the sun. And I think for you guys, I think just your absence helps people see your worth, because you're really felt when you're not in people's lives, because you really give and pour into people. And I think you're definitely seen by a lot of people, and I want to say this as a rare gem, or like maybe connections in the past as the one that got away. And I wouldn't say that lightly. You really are. I think that you're a very standout person. I think that you just have a brightness and a freshness. You may wear very bright clothes, very colourful clothes. Your home may be very bright. I don't know why it's giving me, I don't know if you've ever heard the song At My Worst with Pink Sweat and Kehlani, and in the video Pink Sweat is in pink and Kehlani's in yellow, and Pink Sweat goes and gets yellow seeds to have his house be filled with sunflowers, and Kehlani, even though she's in yellow, she gets pink seeds to have a house filled with like pink flowers. And the colors in that video are so beautiful. It's such a crisp video, and that video really like stands out to me. Like I just love that video, just aesthetically and just the visuals. It's very bright and beautiful and really happy, and you just exude that. If you were a music video, you would be that music video, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I know that's like a really weird compliment, but you're bright and you make me feel good. You feel like a sunny day. You know when you listen to those songs and they're like, they make you just feel like you're at a beach drinking a pina colada, like, you know what I mean? And everything's good. Like, you almost feel like that. I feel like when people are in your life, they feel that vibe that you just bring. It's just something you bring to people. Pile 2. Why do we have the Magician? I do want to say, like I was saying about the summertime as well, like when you go, then it almost feels like the rain's cast over, you know what I mean, with the Eight of Cups. That's how it feels. That's what I was building up to, and then I just completely forgot the point. But you know, maybe I needed to activate other things instead. So what about the Magician, spirit guides? Why do we have the Magician? I think that people see you as very powerful, and I think I almost feel like I want to tell you how powerful you are. I think that I don't know whether you walk with confidence or you're learning to, but there'll definitely be a point in time where you really see it in yourself. But even when you haven't, you've always given this air of confidence off. You've always given this regal essence off. You've always given this very bright, like, I almost feel like a fairy handing out gold. Like, honestly, that's how I feel, like Tooth Fairy vibes. Like, you've always given off a generosity and a brightness that I know I wouldn't be able to take from you because it's yours. And I feel like you've in your life come up against a lot of people triggered by it, trying to dim it out, trying to put you down, trying to find a way in to make you not see yourself in a certain way. And maybe at times they've had you not see yourself in that way, but even when you didn't see yourself in a bright light, other people did. Like, I almost feel like there would have been times where you just didn't see your own light at all and you felt like it had been snuffed out, but yet you're walking and you're maybe like looking down at the ground and everyone's looking at you like, oh my god, that's such a bright light, but you're just not seeing it. And I think that sometimes you may have felt, well, that person took my light away or that my confidence away, and I may have spent years not seeing my own light and confidence and walking around with it snuffed out. But I want to kind of let you know, just because you didn't see it didn't mean other people didn't, because I feel like other people have always seen that in you. People have seen you as that gem, even in some of your darkest days. And I don't know what that means for you, but I just wanted to say that even in your darkest days, I feel like I'm seeing someone walking around with rain clouds over their head and feeling like they just don't know themselves. But then it's like somebody's like jotting down what they're wearing because they really like it, and somebody's like, wow, that person has a really nice smile, or that person has really nice eyebrows, or that person was really funny. Or you may have been feeling very low and then given a bit of advice to someone and they've gone home and that's literally changed their life. And I always want to get emotional because it's like you didn't see it, you just didn't realize it. And I think in this lifetime you're going to be learning how potent and sacred your energy is, because even when you can't see it, other people have been activated by it, and it's really interesting. I feel like you may have been on a bit of a self-worth journey, coming back to self. You chose the bumblebee jasper. And I was talking about bees and the pollen, and the bumblebee jasper is connected to the solar plexus, which is the confidence. Oh my god, see, that's what. And it's connected to the sun, which is Leo. See, I'm making these connections. I feel like you've almost gone through a phase where you felt like you lost yourself to find yourself, and it's kind of been this homecoming, because the way I just connected so quickly then. And I feel like you've had a lot of aha moments, but I think that there may be something that you're working through where it's like, people took my power away from me then, people took my confidence away from me then, or I spent a lot of time in the dark and people didn't see me, but people really did see you even when you were in the dark. That's how much you shine, that even when you couldn't see it, everyone else still did, you know? So that's something that I wanted to say. Why do we have the Eight of Wands at the back of the deck? You could I'm literally being shown someone, and it's like, I'm walking, and again, it's like, they're almost giving me the avatar of Moana, so let's go with that, because I just feel like you have her vibes. And I'm walking on this journey, and then it's like, a bear comes up and tries to take me off my journey, and it's like, I'm able to just like push it out of the way. Like, my own optimism and zest for life and just love for life and people, it just, this light in my heart keeps me going. So anytime this bear or this lion or this, you know, ferocious beast or whatever it's called comes onto my path to try and take me off, it's like, it's no match for me. Even when it has taken me off the path, I've jumped back on the path out of just determination or out of my own heart leading me there. Because even when people have tried to make me not see my light and maybe have succeeded in me not seeing it, the light was still there because it guided me back onto my path, and there's nothing I can't get through. I'm always going to alchemize and shift back onto where I'm supposed to be, because it's not a match for me. Like, that's how I feel with you. Like, you're very strong, and it's your heart bringing you everywhere. It's your beautiful connection to source and the divine that's bringing you to this. It's like you have this infinite supply in your own heart that lights the way for you constantly. And I think it's really, really beautiful, because I just feel like you've been up against a lot of challenges that people would have thought, yeah, don't worry, that's going to take them out. And you've just bounced back even better when people are like, what? You know what I mean? And it's like they have no choice but to just bow down. And I was reading something a while ago. Someone was talking about someone had done like work, like spell work on them, and a being had come, and it was like I hate to say like lower vibrational being, but it was a being that was a bit benevolent. That's what I was trying to say. And obviously that person had sent this being to this girl to kind of mess with her, you know what I mean, and do that kind of work on her. But that girl, like, she's very connected to spirit, and this being ended up telling and snitching on the other person and was like, by the way, I've been sent here by, you know, this person. And the person was saying, when you're respected energetically or on a certain level, certain beings, they're not even just going to want to mess with you. So even when people are sending beings to like try and take you off your path, it's some of them are just going to move out the way for you because they just have that respect for you, you know what I mean? And I feel like you've mastered a lot of levels that I just, even in the form of spiritually and like maybe even psychic attacks, I feel like they just don't have the effect on you like they used to, because it's almost like, oh, please, this is child's play. Like, no. And there's almost this feeling of beings just coming through like, you know what, I respect that, I'm going to leave you be. And it comes in that way too, and because the physical is not much different to the other realms at all. Maybe in some ways, but the same way that we see beings trying to mess with us spiritually, it's the same physically, people trying to have us not see our light. And if they're not a match for you in the physical, in a very much more lower vibrational realm, they're not going to be a match for you energetically or spiritually either. And there's something about that and this boldness that I almost feel like you need to hear and have mentioned to you as well, because there's just this, your heart, it's just expanding. It's like it's no match for, you know, darkness. That's what I want to say. It's no match for darkness. I would say like you're the definition of a light worker. So pile number 2, you're very attractive as well. I do want to say that. Like, I just feel like you're one of those people where the more you stare as well, the more attractive you become, because your soul comes through the physical vessel. Your soul comes through the eyes, the way you speak. It's more than just your physical body, and that's why you're so felt, because you have this grand energy that it's almost like I hear you speak once and I'm being sucked in. And I'm also being told by your spirit guides for you to speak more in public, or speak more to people, or just like, even if it's about things that are maybe connected to spirit, or something in regards to science, or something in regards to, I don't know, engineering just came up, and you may be like, no one would be interested to talk your talk and walk your walk, and being told, and be open to that, because I feel like you're going to really realize by doing that how much people really get sucked in, you know, because that's something that happens, I'm being told. Yeah, so pile number is reminding me, I watched Aladdin a couple of days ago because it came up in a pick a card, and I thought, oh, I'd like to watch Aladdin. I'll watch that. And I watched the I was going to say human adaptation, not human. You know, the live action one, the ones with people in and not cartoons. That's what I'm trying to say. The human adaptation. But anyway, I watched that, and obviously Will Smith is the genie. And even though you have the 2 main characters, which is like Jasmine and Aladdin, the way Will Smith performed as the genie, his character, the humor, everything behind it, he exuded this energy that he just stole the movie. It was his movie, like, in my opinion anyway. Even if I do fancy Jasmine and Aladdin in that movie, like, Will Smith, like, shone in that movie above everyone else. You are like the genie. Like, you are like, when you're in anything, you kind of shine out, and just not even by doing much, it's just you. And I want to say as well, you're really funny. I feel like I would sit and laugh with you constantly. And I feel like you either have like dry humor, or you have like, you may do you know, like Nicki Minaj, she has loads of alter egos, and she like goes in a high pitched voice and then a deep voice. You may have like lots of like alter egos like that. I just feel like they're fun, and I'm being told you should tap into them in public more often. I think people would like find that funny. Like, there's a lot of that coming through. Like, I almost feel like spirits like bloom, because I feel like you are blooming, but sometimes in public you might still naturally like close the flowers, and spirits like, no, bloom. And I feel like you should, like, I would give you that advice too, because one thing I would say is you're really funny and charismatic. Like, you can tell a story. Like, you know, like when you see YouTubers and they tell story times, you would be amazing at that personally. reflection. That's the first card we have from that deck. Let me get 2 more. Pile number 2. You know what I love about you guys as well? What do we have here? Determination, which I felt like that determination, that sun energy. That's why I was saying you might have a lot of 1s in your numerology chart, because it's like when you've got your eye on something, you do it. You don't care what stands in your way. You're creative and you're expansive and you're very determined to do what's right or just follow your heart. We also have stop here as well. The back of the deck we have fear. I feel like you've been learning to let go of insecurities and your own fears to really tap into your strength. I think that was always the plan when you incarnated, if we're going to go into that. But what I wanted to say with reflection, another thing as to why you're so genuine, is you check yourself. Like, if you're getting triggered by something, you won't like be in the comments of something being like, oh my god, why did you say this, I don't believe in this, or whatever. And you're not someone, if someone has an opinion, you won't get like triggered by it. Or if you see something that may make you feel a bit insecure or maybe jealous, you won't sit with it and project it onto that person. You'll go inward and go, okay, why is it making me feel this way, and why do I feel that way, what's coming through? And you'll really sit with it and the feeling to know where it's coming from. And even if you do want to say something to someone, you'll really check yourself beforehand, like, should I say this, or would it do more harm than good, or am I coming from a genuine place saying this, or is it my shadow? Like, you'll really check yourself. And I think even with moves you make, like, even when people as well have like known they were doing you dirty but tried to project on you that you were a bad guy, you'd still check yourself when someone was saying something to you like you're a bad person. You still check yourself, like, am I? What did I do? And you really check yourself before, handing the ball back to that person. It's like, have I done this or have I done that, or is this person projecting? You'll really check. You won't just bounce off your emotions. And I think that's something that people find really genuine too. And I really love that you guys can do that, because a lot of people don't have the self-awareness like you do. You have a really strong self-awareness that it's like, you can have a difference in opinion, it's fine. Or am I getting triggered by this person because they're saying something that I might not want to hear? I think they might be, let me work on this. Or no, maybe I should say something. Like, you'll really check before you do it. And a lot of people don't do that. And you really do that, and I really, really appreciate that about you guys as well. You see from a higher perspective and do with that how you see fit. Again, a determination card. I feel like any setback you've had, even when you couldn't see your light, again, I'm being told to say even in your darkest days, it's 111 on the clock, by the way, which is sun energy, 111. But yeah, I feel like even in your darkest days, you've been determined to like break through and rebirth, and I think you've done that really well. That's something that I want to say, like, when people have that light taken away from them, and when I say taken away to the point that they can't see it, and they manage to find their way back, it can be like a really murky road and murky waters to get there. And the fact that you've done that, I just think it's really beautiful. Why do we have stop? I think as well, you've been on a bit of a self-love or a self-worth journey, because I think that you're aware when people can't give you what you deserve, or when people are taken without the respect for you or what you do or how much you're given. And you've learned to be like, stop. You're not coming any further into my energy. You're not taking any more from me. Stop. Like, you've learned to do that and have those heavy boundaries. And I think it's been really hard for you, because you genuinely see from a high perspective, can see sometimes, well, maybe that's just that person is just a bit desperate right now because of their inner child. But then you also know and have that respect for you, and you've worked on yourself to have that respect for you, where it's like, as much as I know you might need something from me right now, if I haven't got it to give, or if you're not respecting me, I'm not going to give it, because it's not going to be balanced. And you've learned to really do that without feeling guilt, whereas at times you may have really succumbed to that guilt. And I think that's something really beautiful, that you've been able to honour yourself and your sacredness, because I think for a long time you didn't see how sacred your energy was, even though everyone else did. And now it's getting to a point where you really see it too. And I think that's really beautiful that you've been able to bring yourself to that. Pile number 2. Show me pile number 2's energy so I can give them an ego boost. We have the Explorer, and it's like a compass. And again, look at that. It's a heart. Literally, the amount of synchronicities in this reading. your heart's leading the way. That's why we have that here. And then we literally have the compass, and it's like your heart's leading that way. And that's why we have the explorer with determination here, because it's like you follow your heart all the time, and that's where that genuine feeling comes from, because it's like you're always going to listen to your heart above your shadow, above your insecurities, above all else, like above your ego. It's like your heart's leading the way. And I think that's beautiful because people feel it so strong. So final card from this deck, please, Spirit Guides. Pile number 2. We have the Outlaw. Love that. Do you know what this boot is reminding me on this card? You know, in SpongeBob SquarePants movie, and that big, what's it called? The big Cyclops thing, and it's like one big boot. It's like, I don't know why that's coming through, but obviously the guy with the big boot, he was like really big. And I just feel like you just have a very grand, big presence, even if like you might not be the loudest in the room, even if you might not be very large in real life, you'd maybe small, you know what I mean? Or you know, you may not feel like you take up much space as a human. Energetically you do. And I just think that, especially with the mountains here, and then we have the mountains here as well, it's reminding me of the mountain goat, so Capricorn energy coming through. But I just feel like you've got, I'm hearing the Sia song Stamina. I've got stamina. What was that? The Greatest. Sia song The Greatest, featuring Kendrick Lamar. I just feel like you've weathered a lot of storms and come out fighting. And I just think there's a lot of, I almost feel like I want to bow to you. Like, I don't think you hear sometimes like, I'm proud of you. I don't think that you hear, oh my God, you literally got knocked down that mountain so many times and you still got to the top. And more, because you still are breathing and ready to go again. Like, that's huge. Like, and your heart did that. There's a fire in your heart that like is just there. In the back of the deck we have Alchemist, so it's like you've transmuted your own wounds and fears to create positivity, and you didn't just stop with positivity for yourself, you still shine it out for so many other people, which is just beautiful. Like, you just continuously give, and it's just ever flowing, and it's just beautiful. Like, I feel like that's why you feel so warm. I feel held by your energy, and I feel safe because you're just very genuine, and I really love that about you, pal 2. So that's what I have for you, pal 2. I really hope that you enjoyed the reading. It went a bit longer than I expected it to, but I just kept having the information come through. I didn't want to stop. So yeah, that's what I have for you. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. Happy New Year. I hope you guys have a beautiful year, and I hope I started the year off good for you guys. And hopefully I'll see you guys in my next reading. So thank you guys for watching. Hey pal 3, welcome to your reading. So I am tapping into you guys' energy and giving you guys an ego boost for the new year. So you guys chose the Ocean Jasper. I'm going to start with tarot, and then we're going to move on to your oracle cards. Straight away, I feel like you guys may be my water pile. The reason being, as I tapped into your energy, I was shown a lilac, like a light purple, which connects us to the crown chakra, which shows me you guys are very connected to spirit. But it's, how do I explain your energy? It's soft. I felt like I was flowing into your energy. I almost felt like, imagine stepping into someone's energy and you have like a lilac kind of netted let's say cloth kind of like placed around you, like silk. It almost felt like that. Like, you felt very rich, but it was in a very, let's just say, watery way, which kind of made me think, okay, this is probably my water pile. And you guys did choose the Ocean Jasper, which kind of makes sense. But yeah, the one thing that I would say about you guys' energy opening up to you guys is you guys are so graceful. The way that I almost want to say, like, the way that you move, maybe the way you move your hands, the way that you speak. Some of you guys may have a very soft voice or a very silky voice, or you just have a way with words where it just feels like silk. There's something about that. I also feel like, you know, when you look at different types of beauty, I almost feel like you guys would have like a romantic beauty or an ethereal beauty. There's something like that coming through. Just really, really beautiful, and there's like a purity coming through. It's like, I want to give you all the love in the world and give you like a really big hug. That's how it feels. And it's just like really, really soft, and it's like, you know, when you go out into nature and you see, like, especially in the spring, you feel like the spring. That's one thing I want to say. But you know, when you go out into nature and like you feel like in the mornings, the smell is different in nature. Like, you feel the crisp air, and like, especially in the spring, like all the, you know, animals have their babies and stuff. It's like, I don't know, it just gives me that vibe, like, to just happen into you. You feel like that, you feel like spring. You feel very healing. I feel like you guys are probably natural born healers, and I feel like you can, even though you come across with like a really gentle presence that I want to like big you up for, because it's very angelic. It's like you could wage wars if you wanted to, like that like lightness can overtake any heaviness. I hope that makes sense. Like, I feel like you could have gone through a lot in your lives, and that's what's brought you to that calm, which is really, really beautiful. So that just shows your strength, that you've been able to hold on to a frequency like that no matter what you've been through. So that's something that I want to say is happening. But let's get into tarot. So pile number 3, please, spirit guides. Pile number 3, show me my pile number 3's energy so I can give them an ego boost. I don't know if some of you guys have a rabbit, but I don't know why I'm just seeing a connection to rabbits. It could just be that spring energy again. And they're very innocent little creatures, rabbits, but that's what I'm being taken to for some reason. Some of you guys may have like rabbit ornaments or jewelry, like little rabbit ears or something, I don't know. Pile number 3, please. Pile number 3, please, spirit guides. Tap me into my pile number 3's. Some of you guys may have like very doe eyes. Again, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer coming up. We have the Tower card as well. Oh god, we have the World. Look at these major arcanas. Love this. And it's so funny that you guys have the major arcanas, because there's this feeling of your presence. You come through very angelic. You come through like almost like the Empress in a way, which it's almost like, to look at you, I feel like you guys are very naturally attractive. I feel like you guys have just this beautiful aura that kind of shines through. There's an innocence here, there's a purity here, but then it's like it's reminding me of like it's reminding me of that pile where I talk about you guys being like a Dumbledore, like Gandalf energy. It's like you come when you're called. So I feel like there's almost like this spiritual essence to you, where even though you come through this innocence, you really had to either fight to hold on to that frequency, or it really shows me for you to be able to have such an airy energy like this and a flowy energy. Whenever anything is chucked at you, even if it's something like you're grieving something or something happens to you, you transmute it straight away. You don't try and run and hide from it and let it just hinder your frequency. Like, you really dissect it, alchemize it to come back to this natural space that you have, which feels like you guys are a light worker. I would say that you're my spiritual pile and you're my healers, you know, my water pile. It's like you're able to just alchemize anything and flow, and transform out of even like the darkest things. It's really, really interesting. So I just want to big you up on your strength of the frequency that you're able to hold no matter where you step foot. It's really, really beautiful. I feel like you guys have a lot of depth to you as well. There's like a lot of deep, you're able to understand people, and sympathize with people. I feel like you guys are strong empaths. Pile number 3, please, spirit guides. Tap me into my pile number 3's energy. What can we big up my pile number 3's with? What ego boost can we give my pile number 3? Show me my pile number 3's energies. Oh my god, you guys have 4 major arcanas. Wow. Oh my god, guys, we actually have the Wheel of Fortune at the back of the deck as well. You have 5 major arcanas that have come out for you. Wow. Okay, so one thing that I will say as well is that you guys are very connected to your soul mission on earth, and I feel like everything that you do ties into that. And I'm hearing what's that song? They sing something like, I did it all in the name of love, or something like that. I'm not quite sure, but I just feel like you're very connected to whether it's your spiritual gift or your own integrity and your own heart. And I feel like that really gets you through a lot. And I feel like you've had to wage some wars and really go through a lot of harsh experiences, but it's like those harsh experiences that could have turned you cold, I feel like they've almost turned you more gentle. They've turned you more they've made your heart even bigger. And I think I want to big you up with that first, that like, when people have things chucked at them in life, a lot of people can turn really dark with it. A lot of people can use it then to hurt other people, and you almost feel like a cycle breaker. That's what Spirit's referring to, like a cycle breaker. I feel like you maybe have seen a lot of pain, but it's just like you brought it in, transmuted it, and now you're a lot more It's like you've built yourself back up with it. I feel like it's funny because if I was doing like a perception video of how do people perceive you, I would be sitting here telling you how innocent you may come across and how sweet you may come across and how, you know, and very focused on your looks and your presence and your aura, and it would be very that way. Whereas to big you up, it's like I'm going straight past that. Even though you have all of that, you have a beautiful aura. I feel like you guys are very attractive. Your aura is very attractive. I go straight past that and I see all the towers that you've had to just like burn down to build back up, and you've just done that all yourself. And it's like the strength then that comes behind that. I think that when people first perceive you, they only see the tip of the iceberg, and I feel like I just want to big you up on how much you've been able to hold this light and rebirth and bring things to a halt that weren't helping you, but not just you, but the people around you and like humanity. I feel like you've really been able to transmute a lot of karma. There's been so much purging, and I feel like as well you've done it all. Like you don't look for recognition for it. You're the type of person to heal something so profound within, like, let's say your family lineage, and you don't even turn around and go, are you gonna thank me? Like, it's not even that. It's like, no, I'm just doing it because it's, you know, as per my heart, like that's where I was called to do it. And I just think that's so beautiful that you can go to like the murkiest of waters, come back up, and it's like, that's nothing, and people wouldn't even know unless you said, and you don't even like boast about it. It's just, it is what it is. And I think that's so beautiful that you guys are able to do that. And I just think your strength is so admirable. Like, I feel like your heart is like one of those, I'm doing this behind the camera, I feel like your heart is like made of steel, like literally. I feel like you've got such a direct, beautiful, pure connection from your heart space to the higher realms, to the angelic realms. And I think you do fuel a lot of messages too. I think that's why I saw that lilac, that crown chakra energy, because it's like you're constantly downloading and connected to spirit, and I think that also really protects you in a really beautiful way. Like a lot of people, they may channel, and they could channel like the spirit guides, or they could channel ascended masters, but I almost feel like you really do tap right straight into source, which is just absolutely beautiful. And I just see you, you know, coming down just to help hold a certain frequency that you have. I think just you being here and spreading your love like that, I think you hold a certain frequency that really helps out. You almost feel like a guide that incarnates. Like, that's how I would literally call you, because I feel like one thing you don't see is how many people you've guided and helped in your lifetime. That's one thing that I want to say. I feel like you've touched a lot of people, whether you realize it or not. And you could think, well, I don't even know a lot of people, but like it could just be something small, like helping somebody out when they were in school, or being kind to someone or giving them like an ego boost, and you just thinking, oh well, I was just doing what I normally do, being nice, but it really helped someone. And I don't think you realize that. I think you have a really kind nature about you, and I think you've held it at times when there's been, I'm hearing a lot of poison around you, and you've still held held on to that kind nature. And even when you've maybe placed boundaries in and done better for yourself, and maybe you know, cut certain people off, it's like you've still had love for them. You've still forgiven them from afar, even if you know they can't come back into your frequency. Like, I see you looking at people that would have done you wrong. You cut them off, which is, you know, right if someone's hurt you, but then it's like you're looking at them and you're like, but I wish you well, though. I wish you, like, you know, I wish you happiness. I hope you heal. There's like this beautiful thing there, because your heart, it just replenishes itself constantly. It's really, really beautiful. You just feel like a light worker. You remind me of, and I might have even said it to you before, what's the name of the movie? Stardust, with the star kind of like falls to the earth, and she's like this girl, and she's just like really beautiful. I don't know, you kind of remind me of that. There's just a really gentle energy, but the reason that it's so felt and so pure is because in that gentleness, like, you could create tsunamis with that if you wanted to. Like, it's there, but you choose not to. It's reminding me, and again, I've probably said this to you before, but you're kind of like a gentle giant. Like, you have so much power and so much wisdom, and you could like take out whoever you wanted to, but you choose peace, and you choose to spread this frequency that just naturally comes easy to you, which I think is really, 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 really beautiful. And I think that, what's that saying, like, no weapon formed against me will prosper? I feel like you need to know how strong your heart is and how strong your frequency is, that certain things that you've gone through, you've been able to bounce back, purge, alchemize things that maybe people in your family line weren't able to do, or maybe things that people around you weren't able to do. You've been able to do that. So there's almost this message coming through, and I don't know who needs to hear it, but it's like, I've noticed as well, I'm speaking a lot calmer for you guys. I don't know why, maybe you speak really calm. But what I was saying was, you guys are one of those people that like, no, that's not what I was saying. The message that was coming through, Spirit was like, no, you're going too far. The message the Spirit was trying to say is, everything that you've been through in this frequency that you've held, you're coming into a time now where your feet are firmly in the ground and you've mastered a level of detachment that there's no need for worry moving forward, and you can naturally settle into that optimistic view of life and be open to like love and abundance and things coming through again, because you've already proved to yourself that no matter what happens, you can bounce back, that you can tear down a tower if you need to and build back up again if you need to. You have this very pure, like, you're an alchemist and you have that essence within you, even though sometimes people, when they're natural alchemists, it can come through quite intense, whereas I feel like yours, you are just a natural light worker. So even though maybe sometimes we even project onto you that you guys are a bit too kind or too nice or whatever, I just feel like that's your strength, because it's like behind that you've been able to hold such depths and been able to transform it, and that's a message from Spirit. Like, no matter what you go through, you're able to bounce back, because we always fall back into our natural frequency, especially if we're really connected to it. And I feel like your natural frequency is this just pure love energy, and I feel like no matter what you go through, you always find your way back to it. You know that Hannah Montana song, and it's like, you always find your way back home? It's kind of like that. Even when you lose yourself, you just, it's not even you losing yourself, it's you going down a different pathway to find a piece of yourself and then come back to your center. Like, that's what you've done. Because even with this death card here, and obviously the death card, it's death and it's rebirth, but if you see in the horizon, there's a sun there, so it's like even in your most, you know, even in your rock bottom states, you've been able to find that purity and bounce back again. And I almost feel like in situations that could break some people, and situations where people could look and go, well, that person hit rock bottom, or that person you know, fell all the way down the ladder, and I don't think I don't envy them. But it's like, in ways, do you really not envy them? Because I feel like when you hit rock bottom, you literally just shed a layer of your skin and come back more powerful. Like, that's how it comes through, with more of a heart and more light, and you feel more connected to yourself. And anytime you've hit a rock bottom, I think you've started to realize you're literally just peeling a layer of yourself off. A part of you's died, so a brighter part can come through. And I feel like you understand that process of coming back, that's why you flow so well, because it's like, I know I've got me, and I know I'm going the way that I'm supposed to, because I'm connected to the spirit realm, I'm connected to my higher chakras, I'm connected to my heart, and I know I'm going this way, and I'm just going to keep following this feeling. Because I feel like you're so connected to your crown chakra as well, because I feel like you're connected to your Akashic records. And I feel like even sometimes where you may get a little bit stressed, there's always this inner knowing, like, no, I'm going the right way. I know, because you're following a feeling in this lifetime that's going to take you where you need to go. And I think even in your darkest moments, even if you can't see a light, you don't have to see it with your own 3D physical eyes. You feel your way through. And I think that's, again, your own heart and your own psychic abilities coming through, that above all else, you've got them, and they lead you out of anything. And I think that's so beautiful, that even in a 3D realm where we're taught to only look at what we can see, you still listen to what you feel and get yourself out of situations and alchemize. And I just think that's really, really beautiful. Yeah, that's something that, because I honestly was going to just focus first of all on just like your aura and how beautiful it is, and how soothing you are, and how much of a healer you are, and how much you've helped people. But Spirit's like, no, tell them about this, and really brought that through with the major arcana. Like, this is your blueprint. Like, you are able to like literally hold this beautiful frequency, which always brings you back to that light within you. You know what I mean? And I just think that's so beautiful that you can hold that frequency. I just feel like I can't tell you that enough. So let's add some more cards. I think that as well, you guys, similar to pile number one, and you might have been drawn there because pile number one was more alchemist, but focusing on the shadow and things, and that they had that intensity, whereas pile three is like alchemist but focusing on the lighter things. But sometimes it could be that I'm focusing on each side of you. You know what I mean? So some of you guys could have been drawn to pile number one as well. It's okay if you weren't. But I want to say as well, like, there's this natural artistry that comes through from you guys. I feel like, you know that song from ABBA, I Have a Dream? And they sing, I have a dream, a song to sing to help me cope with everything if you see the wonder of a fairy tale, you can face the future even if you fail. I believe in angels, something good in everything I see, and I just feel like you could see ruins and see beauty and building it back up. You could go through the biggest like death and rebirth and be super optimistic and still see that sun. You know what I mean? Like where people would think, well, I'm over, you're like, no, this is just the beginning. Like you're able to always see the optimistic side and see that there never is really an end. And I think that's really, really beautiful that you're able to tap into that. You have this natural optimism with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. And I think that you help people see the bright in their life and be grateful for what they have. Like I feel like you're the type of person that, you know, maybe you've had people around you and they've been miserable because they didn't have X, Y, and Z. And you're like, but you have A, B, and C. Like, you know what I mean? You're able to bring people to that and help people tap into their own hearty energy and that gratitude for what they already do have. There's always something to be grateful for, and I feel like you're super aware of that, and I feel like you encourage that with people and hold space for people to see the blessings that they have. And I feel like you leave people feeling more prosperous in what they already have and what they already look like and what they already possess within them. You know what I mean? Like you're able to do that with people and help them see that. It's like you're a mirror, but you help lift people up, which is really, really beautiful. And sometimes that can trigger, especially when people are naturally going through processes of maybe self-hate, because sometimes people go through that, or people don't want to tap into their highest potential, and you may mirror that to them, and then it's like, oh, you know, oh my god. So it's like that may trigger sometimes, but I feel for the most part, you know, it's, you really do help people see the light and the light at the end of the tunnel. And I think that you're here to be a light for people as well. I feel like, you know, when we say the stars in the night sky and they shine, I feel like you're one of those. It's really beautiful. So let's pull some more cards. I feel as well you're able to hold on to lower frequencies and transmute them. So I feel like naturally you could walk into a crowded room and then walk out and maybe you'll feel a bit low or tired or anxious, and it's because you've naturally just absorb things in the room. Like I'm seeing somebody walk into a room and then I'm almost being shown a cloud, like cotton wool, it almost looks like, and it's kind of like lingering behind me because it's like I'm naturally absorbing it on. And I think, first of all, I think it's beautiful. Like you have this beautiful light and you're able to take it in, but I would say to make sure that you are protecting yourself, cleansing down with water, maybe wearing some Florida water, keeping some black tourmaline, snowflake obsidians, because I feel like your light's so bright naturally you don't realize it, and you'll walk into a room and I don't think you realize how potent and how bright your energy is, that you could just take on certain frequencies sometimes, and then you're like, why am I tired? Why am I fatigued? Why am I, you know, why do I just want to go to sleep right now? Why do I feel miserable? But you've taken it on. And I think they're telling me that to show you as well how strong your ability is to feel and take on energy. It's almost like you're an energetic being before you're a human being sometimes. Like I think you're so connected to that side of yourself. Yeah, I would definitely say that. That's why you give off that like Dumbledore. You're wise as well. Like really, really wise. I feel like a lot of people look up to you as well. We have faith. Oh my god, yeah, literally, like I was saying, you guys have this natural optimism. And then we have consciousness, and they're both purple. So it's like you guys are always able to reboot and replug yourself back into a higher state of consciousness. You are always able to, even when, you know, connecting to like certain emotions that human beings have, once you've felt them, you're then able to tap into a higher consciousness level to help you understand that emotion and process it easier. It's like readily available to you. You're always connected to it no matter what. It's really interesting, even in ways when you don't think you are. Like maybe a time period where you weren't connected to spirit, you'd class it as, well, I wasn't connected to spirit then, but you were, because you were still bringing information through. You just weren't aware of what you were doing yet. It was always there. You've always been able to hold on to that frequency. It's really, really interesting. Like you could bounce back from anything. To the point that I see you reaching a point where nothing phases you at all. Like you're able to feel it and understand it and process it, but it doesn't phase you. It's not able to knock you off your pedestal or knock that crown off your head. You're just able to transmute it there and then, and it doesn't phase you as much. Like I see you guys reaching that. Whereas maybe in your earlier life, you almost felt like a jellyfish, taking on a lot of heavy emotion and not understanding what's going on. But the more you get to know yourself and pour into you, the more you kind of just like stand there, feet in the ground like an anchor, and kind of are able to kind of take it on. It's kind of like that. It's like going from a tadpole to a shark. You know what I mean? Like that's how it's coming through. Pile number... And it's funny, the more connected to your power you get, the more gentle you even come across, which is quite interesting. Maybe when you were younger, you'd get, your emotions would maybe take you on a ride, and you'd, almost feel like a jellyfish being taken around, but you may have had a bit of a harder exterior, or felt like you had to have one to protect yourself, like a hard shell, like sea creatures in the sea. I love how I keep being taken to the ocean. Like sea creatures in the sea, crabs and stuff, they have that hard shell to protect themselves within. I feel like you would have felt like that, whereas you get to a point where you are so tapped into your power, but then you're able to just majestically just float, and you know what I mean, you don't have to have that hard shell, kind of like I want to say shark, but I'm being taken to electric eels. I don't know why, that's just coming through. You know how they're so like beautiful the way they move. I don't know, I'm just picking that up. Pile number... And like that's another thing that I want to boost you on as well, the fact that you were able to have maybe had that hard shell and protect yourself, but you've been able to tear it down so many times to feel confident that you don't need that shell anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like you've been able to really transmute it. You know them, again, fish again. You know them fish, and they have the light bulb that helps them see, and it's like pitch black, but they naturally shine. It's kind of like that. We have mystery, another purple, and that's what I was tapping into when I picked up on you guys, purple, lilac energy. And we've literally got the 3 down here. Why do we have mystery? I just feel like, do you know, like I was saying, if you guys watched What Do People Think of You video, I wouldn't even get all of this because people wouldn't even see that. Like I said, you don't tell people maybe what you've gone through or how much you've had to transform. You just move by yourself, and I think that's really attractive, and it adds to like that level of mystery. And like even again with like the ocean, like we've only discovered a certain amount of the ocean. It's only a certain amount of it's been explored, and I just feel like people are always wanting more from you. Like I feel like I could just sit here and read on you, and just read books, you know what I mean, on like your life and like how you transformed and just all of that, because there's so many layers to you that I just feel like you let people see that first layer, and then people are like wanting to peel back more and peel back more. So there's an air of mystery that people really want to dive into, but it's like only the strongest swimmers can really get in and really see. Like that's how it kind of comes through. I love in my water pile, I just get a bunch of water analogies. It's really, really interesting, and I love that. Yeah, so that's something that's coming through. In the back there's like, we have passion as well. One thing that I will say about you as well, and the more that you open up to that gentleness and being open with people, which I feel like you are in now, at least when I tap into you guys, or you're learning to, or it's the timeline you're on, I see people just genuinely like their heart expanding when they're around you, because I naturally feel like if I was around you and I'd hear you speak or I'd hear you talk, I don't know why I'm just seeing you with pets or animals, I just feel like you expressing love would open my heart to then want to express love to you. You know that song Miley Cyrus, Adore You? I don't know if you're in a relationship, but if you're talking to someone, like I just see that song coming through, Adore You. Like you kind of make people feel like they're falling in love with you because you just express this level of love that I think maybe it opens up feelings that people haven't opened up to before. Because in this world, a lot of the time we say falling in love, they're falling into attachment, or they're falling into lust, or they're falling into infatuation. It's very rarely people are tapping into that core source of the heart and actually experiencing that love feeling, because people fear it or people look for other things. And I just feel like you naturally just kind of like open that cave to people. And yeah, okay, it may trigger some people, but I feel like it naturally opens those feelings, and people, there's like a gratitude to you then, and you open people up to that purity, and it almost returns them home. Like that's the feeling that I get from you. It's really beautiful, and that naturally is the energy of source, that purity, you know. So it's like that's how connected I feel like you guys are, that you almost feel a little bit like a portal. Like that's how it kind of comes through. So let's pull your final cards. Pile number 3. Like, I literally just want to get my arms and just like squeeze you. Like, just hug you and squeeze you. That's how I feel. Pile number. And as well, I think the more that people learn about you, what you've been through, or like what you stand for, or learn about your own, you know, if you have things to say that you've learned, like wisdom and all of that, I feel like it's like people falling deeper into the ocean. People, they see like a depth then, do you know what I mean? And they can't go back then. And I just feel like the more I'm going into the ocean and learning about you, the more my heart's opening. Like, that's how it feels. It's like you're a true expression of love, which is really beautiful, especially in the 3D realm. Being able to hold on to that frequency, that takes strength. I was gonna say that takes balls, but that takes strength. It takes balls, but it takes strength as well. A card fell on the floor. We have reflect. And the other day I saw this and I thought it was doves, and then after the reading I was like, wait, no, it's swans. And there's 2 of them, which is very beautiful. So we have reflect, and then pull one more card and I'll channel them. Pile number 3, 3 spirit guides. Pile number 3 is energy. We have patience. Honestly, I just keep seeing the Empress in my mind's eye. I know she hasn't come up in the cards, but I just keep seeing the Empress when I think of your energy. The back of the deck, we have Get Wild. At the back of the deck. So Spirit Guides, why do we have reflect and then patience? I think that what's really beautiful as well is that in a world where we're told that we're not enough, we don't look the way that we're supposed to, we haven't got the amount of money that we should, or we haven't got the, you know, things and items that we should have to be worthy, you're able to hold on to a certain frequency where you're like, I am enough, my heart's enough. Like, I hold on to all that I need just within myself. And whether you feel like it now, or again you're on a timeline of getting that, I see that's part of your mission to reach that, to teach people the same thing, like all that you have and all that you need is within. Again, it's especially with the patience and the reflect card, it's taking me, and the Get Wild, which makes me think of nature, it's making me think of you know, like the simplistic nature of nature. Like, you go into the woods, there's no such thing as time, everything is patient, you know what I mean, with the seasons, nothing's sped up, you know what I mean. It's like spring happens when it's supposed to, autumn happens when it's supposed to, and there's no resistance in nature, it just flows. You naturally have that, and there's a natural beautiful balance that you have that maybe there wasn't at the beginning of your life when you incarnated, but you've learned to reach that by holding on to this frequency within. And I think a lot of what's happened to you, it's had you turn within and you just hold this beautiful heart resonance that sings the same song that nature does, and sings the same song that, you know, animals do, like that purity and that connection and that source. Like, I feel like you're the type of person that could bring like everyone together. Like, you're one of those people, you know what I mean? Like, I really do feel that, because you just lead with the heart. I feel like you're a leader, but you're a leader of the heart. Yeah, and I feel like you naturally create abundance because you naturally see the light in the dark. What human beings see as abundance, I feel like you naturally create it, because we're all creating our own realities. You can see the abundance in a water bottle. You could see the abundance in a crystal. You could see the abundance in a road. Like, you're just one of those people that's able to see the beauty of things. And I just think that's so beautiful. I think that you guys are so beautiful, and we see life like how we are within. So the fact that you see beauty in the darkest places, it's because you're so beautiful within. And I hope you know, even in connections with people, and you know, you have a lot of love to give, and you see a lot of prosperity in people and connections, it's because you're reflecting that own inner beauty and light, you know, outwards. You know what I mean? And yes, you've probably had to learn discernment and be very careful with what you bring in. Just know every time that you've seen, or, you know, fallen in love with things or places, there's some people that could look at it and not see what you see, but you are creating your own reality and you're seeing a reflection of yourself in things. And I just think that's really, really beautiful that you guys are able to do that. So pile 3, that is what I have for you guys. I really, really hope that you enjoyed. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are watching. And hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey pal 4, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look, well I am taking a look at you guys' energy, and I'm going to be giving you guys an ego boost to start off the new year. So you guys chose the rose quartz. I'm going to start with tarot and then I'm going to move on to your oracle cards. So I picked up the wrong deck. The first thing that I want to say, when I tapped into you guys' energy, I almost felt like I was taken to like being out in nature, and then everything was bright and colourful and everything was odd and everything was glistening. Like I saw things really brightly. I just feel like you guys have a very tailored high frequency to the way that you look at life, to the way that you look at even like human life and physical things. I feel like naturally when you guys on a soul level will incarnate, you really like enthrust yourself into that incarnation and into the humanness, and you really kind of make the best out of anything. And I just, the way I'm looking at nature and I'm seeing color and there's a depth and there's beauty, it's like I just feel like you guys are a vision of that. I don't know whether you express it in tattoos, I don't know if you express it in makeup, I don't know if you express it in hair or clothes, but I almost feel like for people to look at you, because you're a reflection of what you see, I just feel like you're kind of like a source of inspiration, whether it's just like photos you post, artistry, things you paint, you just walking down the street wearing your outfit, there's a uniqueness. Like I'm hearing Beyonce, alien superstar, and she sings unique, that's what you are. Like I just see that coming through. Like there's just, I just want to say you're really cool. Like you're the type of people, you know, when you like have iconic movies and there's just like the color schemes and you're able to like point out that movie for like its aesthetic or color. Like Alice in Wonderland is one that's like iconic, and the whole Wonderland and the color, and then let's say Avatar with, you know, everything that comes there and the beauty that's there. Like you're able to pinpoint those movies. They're legendary, they're artistic, there's so much richness in the creative process. Like you guys just are able to do that with everything you touch, whether it's just you designing jewelry, because I'm being shown bracelets, some of you guys may design jewelry, that you're the type of person that no matter what you design or what you wear, people will look at it and go, and people do look at it because that's what I'm tapping into, and go, well, where's that come from, or where did you get that outfit from, and want to almost mimic it sometimes, because it's like you're a trendsetter, you're unique, you're futuristic, there's like Aquarian energy coming through. You set that trend, you know what I mean, you set that stage. There's such a uniqueness that's coming through, and I'm being taken to like the Leo Aquarius axis with you guys. You don't have to have a lot of planets in Aquarius and Leo, it's just something that I'm picking up from you guys. Like you shine out and you stand out no matter what you do. It's really interesting, even in for some of you guys, the way you choose to speak. Like there's something that no matter what you do sets you apart from everybody else, and it's just really, I just want to say you're really unique and kind of very artistic, and yeah, that's just something I want to say before I get in. So let's continue. I want to say as well, you know, like when you think of Wednesday, like what's her name, Jenna, and like she's come out and she's done that, I don't know if it's a TV show or movie, Wednesday, and I go back and forth deleting and downloading my TikTok again, but like that dance and her aesthetic, like people jumping onto it, and even though that aesthetic's been around for a while, I'm just talking about like that style. It's like people are going to associate her with that now, and she's added her own twist to something and created it and made it unique. So it's like you're that in anything. Like let's just take it to tarot. Like you could start tarot, but it's like there's something about the way you do it that's just unique, that you can't find anywhere else. Or like again, designing jewelry, like yes, there could be like 100 bracelets and rings, but it's the way you do it that makes people want to go, I want that. And it's not even just a case of, oh, it's luxury, it's like, no, it's different and it's cool and I want it. Like that's how it's coming, kind of coming across. You got that like star factor that people look for in celebrities. Like you see people and they may have like a really cool singing voice, but they might not have star power. But then you have those celebrities, it's just they walk into them, they have star power. You have that. You're cool. You know what I mean? So pile number 4. Let's boost up my pile number 4s. I don't know who has a dog or chihuahua. That's just something that's coming through. It could be that you just have an animal like that, or they're coming through to let you know they're around. If they have passed on, it's more so a dog. the Chihuahua keeps coming into my mind. It could be that you have one with you while I do the reading. But that's coming through. Pile number 4, please, spirit guides. Pile number 4. Pile number 4, please, spirit guides. Tap me into pile number 4's energy so I can give them an ego boost. The Magician. Tap me into pile number 4's with the Wheel of Fortune. Tap me into pile number 4's energy so I can give them an ego boost. The Fool. Pile number 4. Ooh. Nine of Cups. Even when you do something that's been done before, you add such a unique twist that you make it your own. You know, like when you hear a song and it's been sampled, but it's so good sampled and it doesn't just sound like an absolute rip-off of the original. You've just like added your own twist. You're able to do that with anything. And I don't even think you're even capable, because you're so tapped into who you are, I don't even think you're capable of just like copying and pasting. I don't think that you're someone that's able to just like take something and then leave it as it was. Like, you'll elevate it. That's why I'm picking up Aquarius energy, because you elevate something to like a higher degree. It's just really, really, really interesting. And I think that you're very forward thinking. Again, Aquarius energy, you're very forward thinking in the way that you see things. Like, you set the trend before, how to explain it? You set trends, but I also want to say that you're onto something before other people are. So let's just say Crocs, right? Like, they could be nothing, and then you just like wear a pair of Crocs and you're wearing them and people are like, why are you wearing Crocs? I don't like Crocs. Like, why are you wearing those things? And people may have something to say because it's different, and then literally like a year later a celebrity wears them, everybody ends up wearing them, and you were ahead of the curve to the point that you're not even wearing Crocs anymore because I saw last season. You're on something else, you know what I mean? Like, and people do look to you as like a source of inspiration as well. It's just something that's coming through. The back of the deck we have the Chariot card as well, which I'll actually keep there a second. And that's exactly what I'm getting with the Magician card. It's like, you're so connected to you too that I feel like it's very hard for people to sway your opinions, in the sense that you may have a lot of fixed energy. So again, Leo, Aquarius, but then Scorpio, Taurus as well. The reason I'm saying that is, you know, when you look at let's just say I'm looking at a rainbow and I'm seeing all of the colors, like I see beauty in all of the colors, or I'm not just going to like fall into like one avenue of like, okay, so let's say you want to be a fashion designer. You're not just going to just do the black and white, I'm a fashion designer and I'm creating. It's like, no, I'm also going to be an artist, and I'm also going to look into jewelry, and I'm also going to look into like lingerie, and I'm also going to look into music, and I'm going to create something that hasn't been done. You know, like Rihanna with Fenty Savage and all the other like underwear brands, it was just an average, you walk down the aisle and back and maybe there'll be like a sing song, but that's it. And then Rihanna just came out and had all of her models and stuff dancing, and she included everyone, and it was just really unique the way she did it. You're kind of like that. You won't just go down one avenue and just do something black and white. It's like, I'm gonna make a bang, otherwise what's the point? I'm going to, you know, do something groundbreaking, because what's the point? Why is the glass ceiling even there? I'm going to shatter it. It's just the way you do things. And what's beautiful is, you could have a room full of people in like $1 billion business trying their hardest to create something in their mind that's fresh and new, and you're just sat in your bedroom like downloading, connecting to spirit, tapping into your creativity and doing something groundbreaking just in your bedroom, while it's taken, you know, billions of dollars and like 100 minds to come together to try and create one thing. And you could just knock something out of the park in just your own bedroom and just creating something from home. Like, that's something that you have the ability to do, that I just want to like champion and be like, oh my god, like you really can like turn water into wine sort of thing with that, just by your own creativity and the way you look at things with your own eyes. It's really interesting. Nothing's ever black and white with you, and that's why I was seeing colour the minute I tapped into you. There's colour Like, even if you're making music, like, you could just like go into a forest and create a whole album of music based off of what you saw, based off of what you saw in the wilds, you know, how the trees moved, and you tap into like that rhythm and kind of like create something. And this reminded me of a scene from Hannah Montana, and she was like having trouble of making a new song, and she went out onto a pier, and there was a guy, like, he had like a trash can, and he was like whacking it against something to try and get the trash out, and then someone was like rattling something, and then this beat just started to come into like Hannah Montana's, like, Miley Cyrus's head, or Miley, whatever her name was in the show's head, and then she just starts creating this song from that beat, and all of a sudden she's got this song, and it like does well in the show. But you're able to do that, is what I'm trying to say. You're bursting with flavor and bursting with color and bursting with creativity constantly because you're so connected to source. Definitely some fire energy here, Aries, Leon, Sag coming through, and there's an optimism there as well. It's like even like your darkest nights. Hello, Luna. Hi, baby girl. Luna had a fright today, guys. She I'd left a bag on the floor, not thinking, because it was just a bag, and she jumped inside of it and then couldn't get out of it, and then was running with it on her back, and I had to like chase her around the house because she was very scared. So now I've had to hide any bag that I have, because I didn't think she would do that. I've never had that problem with a cat before. But yeah, I thought I'd tell you that. But yeah, I just feel like you guys, the way you look at things is so colourful and expansive, and I think that you're one of those friends where it's never a dull moment. Like, I've struggled sometimes with friends to like that have wanted to do things that are out there, come here with me, or let's, you know, go and do this, or let's go and do something creative, because it's like, why would we do that? That's kind of like out of the box. Whereas I feel like you're that friend that would be down to do those things. Like, if I called you guys up and was like, let's go to a museum today, let's go to this adventure thing today, let's go and do that, you're the type of friend that would be down. Luna likes your crystal, she's playing with it. You're that kind of friend that would be down to do anything like that. You're very, very fun, and I think as well you tap people into their own potential and their own creativity as well. Like, you could see somebody struggling with that outfit, and you'd be able to just do something where it like looks good. I'm sure there's a movie where that where somebody did that. I'm sure there was. What movie was that? I think it was Wild Child. I think that's what I'm thinking of, Wild Child. And they go into like a store. There's like a charity store, and there was all just like old kind of like clothes in there, and they were like, how are we gonna make something work from this? And then the girl from Wild Child, she just kind of like puts them in outfits and starts cutting things and creating these like really cool outfits for them to wear to this like prom or dance night or whatever it is in the school. So I just think that you guys have that eye and talent to create, and I think that's your mission in this lifetime, to just create. And I think you're always going to push the boat out and go beyond the lines to create something that's like not just extravagant, but something that's groundbreaking. I feel like you're here to elevate. I feel like you're an elevator, literally. And I think that's why we've got the Fool as well, because it's like, okay, you all can go right, but I'm going to go left. And I'm cool with my decision because I know me, and I know that I want to walk this way anyway. Why are we going on the normal path? Let's go this way. And then people are like, well, why would we go that way? No one's ever been there before. And you're like, that's the point. Let's see something new. And I love that about you guys. Some of you guys may travel as well. Or you may have a desire to travel and do new things like that. That's something that's coming through. Why do we have the Nine of Cups? Yeah, I just feel like you can turn any bad experience into a fun experience. I just feel like you're that type of person. Yeah, I really do. I just feel like you guys are so, and I think you're very, very balanced as well, in the sense of, because I'm looking at the Chariot card here, and I just feel like you guys are, when I say visionaries, you're able to work from the ground up too and not get bored. Like, the possibilities are endless. Like, a lot of people wouldn't start up a new company because, one, it would be too much work, or two, it seems impossible. But you're like, impossible is nothing. I'm gonna just keep pushing. Like, I'm gonna get there. And you have all of these ideas, and it's like, I don't care to start from the ground up, because that's the whole point. It's exciting and it's new, and I feel like you're able to do that. And I feel like you have a very good grasp of who you are, to have this beautiful understanding of your own what's the word? I just had the word in my brain. discernment. You're very connected to your own discernment and your own inner divine masculine to like protect and be very balanced that way, but then you're also very tapped into your own femininity and that creativity, and you're able to balance between the two to build, which just makes me feel like you may have a lot of fixed signs in your chart to be able to keep going and build. It's reminding me of that Stormzy lyric, I had a couple seeds and made a forest, on his song Bossy Bop. So Stormzy, Bossy Bop. Yeah, that's just something that I'm like, that song coming through for you guys, where he sings that. So let's keep going. Let's pull some more cards. Pile number 4, please, Spirit Guides. Tap me into my pile number 4's energy. We have balance, and I was just talking about that balance that you have with your masculine to be able to apply yourself to something new, start something from the ground up and work up that way, whereas you also have the inspiration to keep going too and tap into that like femininity, and you balance them both really, really beautiful. You know, sometimes people will come into this lifetime and they'll be more divine feminine and then they master the divine masculine, or they'll be more divine masculine and master the divine feminine, where it's like, I'm attached to both, I'm connected to both, and I'm here to create. Like, it's that simple. Pile number... You're very sure of yourself too, and I think sometimes people may say, because I'm being told, sometimes people may say, oh, you're being a bit too confident, or you're being cocky, or, you know, project those things onto you. But I don't think it's that. You're just sure of yourself, and don't let anyone make you question I don't think you do, but don't let anyone, you know, anyone's projections make you question yourself, because I think that you're the type of person that won't BS yourself. Like, if you're messing up or doing something that is, you know, maybe if you guys decided to be a bit toxic, you're the type of person that would own it anyway and be like, I know I was being toxic, or I know my shadow took over there. Like, you're very real, and that's one thing I want to say about you too. The reason you're so unique is because you're so real with yourself. You're not looking to anyone for inspiration, you're looking within. So when you mess up, or you may do something that is more in line with your shadow self or something like that, you know where you mess up because you check yourself first. And I think that's a really real thing that you do. You're very genuine as a person, I feel. So that when you do speak from experience, or you do give guidance, it's coming from a meaningful place, because you know, because maybe you've had to mess up to know how to do something right. So it's like, when you're speaking from it, you're speaking with a sureness, not because you're cocky, but because you know. You know, and that's something that I want to say as well. Like, you're the type to practice what you preach, you know. And a lot of people don't do that, and you guys do that. Pile number 4. We have consciousness. So I feel like you guys as well, do you know what I was saying about that futuristic energy as well? I feel like you guys have quite a high crown chakra, and a lot of the ideas you have, they're also downloaded from your higher self too. And we all can get that, but not a lot of people will act on it if they can't see how they could physically go about it. You know what I mean? Whereas you guys have that confidence and sureness in the physical as well as those ideas. You know what I mean? And you won't stop till you get there. I feel like you're that type of person. I thought there was thunder then, but I think someone's, like, a lorry just drove past or something like that. Pile number... We have love. We have love. And the back of the deck, we have confidence. Yeah. I feel like you guys just have a natural confidence in who you are, or you could be like learning that, or on the timeline where you're learning to be confident in who you are, your style and things like that. Because I know very well, like, I used to, when I was younger, I used to wear heels a lot because I'm 4'9" and I wanted to appear taller, so I would wear heels a lot, and people always used to be like, why are you wearing heels? But like, one, there was a reason I was wearing them, because I wanted to appear taller, and second of all, I just used to buy heels naturally, and I thought they were really cool, and people would really put me down. And anytime, especially when you come from like small towns, you do something outside the box, people are going to poke at it and be like, why are you doing this? You shouldn't be doing this. Why are you wearing this? Like, unless it's like a trend, people tend to not want to follow it. And I feel like, you're being called to, even though I feel a lot of you already do have that confidence in decisions you make, you know. I remember when I was in school, I remember wearing it was like a Biggie and Tupac jumper, because my dad would listen to like Biggie and Tupac and stuff, and it was like half of Biggie's face, half of Tupac's face, and it said trust no one. And I wore it, and at the time rap wasn't big where I came from anyway, and everyone was like, why are you wearing that, who are they? And I'm like, how do you not know who they are? And I really got like put down for it. And then like 2 years later, rap kind of went big. It was when Drake and everyone came out, and everyone was like on about Tupac and Biggie and everything, and it was just like, okay. So people do that, and I feel like don't take any projections to heart, because you're a trendsetter. You're the person that creates the trends. You're here to do that. Don't listen to anyone projecting. That's what you're here to do. Why do we have the love card? That's the thing. Source is love. You know when they say, oh, Luna's just knocked every card on the floor. Oopsies. Oopsies, little girl. You know when people say God is love, the universe is love, it's that vibration of love, the highest frequency is love. On top of that, with that source energy, source is always creating constantly. It created Mother Gaia, it created us. We are a creation of source. When you are creating, you're not only tapping into that infinite love, but you're tapping into the God source itself, God, Christ consciousness, whatever you believe in, you're tapping into that, and you're constantly creating because you're being fueled by that. You know what I mean? It's coming straight from source. So there's like a line that you're attached to that you're helping create and make more of. So you're doing what you came here to do, creating like that. Which I think is really beautiful, that you're able to tap into that raw, you know, simplicity and just do what we're here to do, which is create. Love that. So let me grab the cards and I dropped on the floor. You dropped quite a few of them on the floor, baby. Okay, let's pull your final cards. Let's go. Pile number 4, please, Spirit Guides. Pile number 4, tap me into my pile number 4 so I can give them an ego boost. Tap me into my pile number 4 so I can give them an ego boost. Pile number 4s. We have release. I just heard heal, but make it fashion. I just heard that. Pile number... I feel like you make people think as well. We have outlaw, the outlaw. I think that you make people think as well, because it doesn't have to be just creating in regards to like visualization. It could be like messages you bring. Like you could be someone that's connected to spirit and then bring in information and messages that have people think. And that could be in regards to anything. It doesn't just have to be spirituality. It could be just like your philosophy of life and things like that. I just feel like you guys are able to do that, you know? Say hi, everyone. Say hi. You're very needed today, baby. And you, do you want to come and sit on my lap? Or you want to stand there? Oh, you're so pretty. She's purring, guys. But yeah, I just feel like you guys... What was I saying? What was I saying, Luna? I can't remember. Yeah, what I was saying was, with even just things you say, messages you bring down, there's like a futuristic way that you're able to just bring in messages that have people think outside the box. It could be just advice you give to people. You know, you could be like an advisor of some sort or a counselor, and you have people think of things in a completely different way because you just have the eye for it. You just have that eye. You're very, very creative like that. Why do we have release and then the outlaw? With the outlaw and the boot here, I just feel like you're somebody to not follow the crowd. Where it could be easier to follow the crowd and you might have stick for going the other way, you'll always go the other way. You know what I mean? It's like, am I just going to comply and like follow everyone and do what everyone's doing, or am I just going to do my own thing? It's given similar to, I think it was pile number 2, it's given Moana, I'm going to sail across the ocean. It's given Pocahontas, just around the river bend, I'm, you know, following my own path. It's given Meredith from Brave, I'm fighting for my own hand, I'm not getting married just because I have to, you know? It's like you have that vibe to you where it's like, I have something to say, I have something to create, nothing's going to stop it. I'm always going to do that. You know what I mean? Which I love. And I think as well, that helps you release and put old ways of doing things to bed. Because with the release card, again, I don't know why I'm going at Disney movies, but it's making me think of Jasmine, and she sings the song Speechless, and she's talking about how rules from the past that were like written in stone, and she's on about it's time to change them because she wants to be like why is it Sultan? I'm not quite sure what the name is, but she wants to be like the ruler of the kingdom, but she can't because she's a female, and like it's against the law for her to do that if she doesn't have a husband. And it's like she wants to, you know, she has her own vision of what she wants Agrabah to be like and what she wants the world to kind of be like. So it's like she has her own ideas, but then she's being held back by like rigid old structures, and I feel like you're here to release them. Old ways of looking at things is like, I'm here to break those, change rules are meant to be broken. Very rebellious Aquarian coming through. Rules are meant to be broken, I'm going to do my own thing. Like, that's how you've kind of, that's the vibe you've got. And I think it's really interesting because I think that's the point of why you incarnated, to kind of like create new footprints and go where people haven't, you know, treaded before, and make people think from a higher perspective. It's really, really interesting. I think you guys are really cool. I feel like if I seen you guys, like, I feel like you guys are like, you know, when you see people on Tumblr and they like post like images of like people and things that they're wearing, if it like fits their aesthetic, you're the type of person to be on someone's vision board or someone's Tumblr board or someone's Pinterest page. Like, you're the type of person to be on that as inspiration. You are the inspiration. You're the tree on top of the Christmas tree. Like, I feel like that's you guys. Yeah, that's what I would say about you guys. You're just really cool. So pile 4, that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed the reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching.